Nigeria, if they can create that level playing field that we have to very much ask for. And maybe
and we're trying to protect their flock despite incredible persecution. We know that some of the biggest groups that are persecuted all over the world today are Christians.
Home by Boko Haram terrorists, he was ordered to renounce his faith. With an AK-47 pressed to his face, he was...
House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee approved sanctions on Nigeria over the widespread banning of Christians and religious violence. The United States House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa has given President Donald Trump the green light to impose stringent sanctions on Nigeria in response to the widespread banning of Christians in the country. The decision followed a congressional hearing on Wednesday, during which lawmakers condemned the Nigerian government for failing to protect Christian communities from escalating violence. The committee also cited the 2024 report by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa, which revealed that Nigerians accounted for 19% of all Christians killed worldwide each year. The report documented that between October 2019 and September 2023, a staggering 55,910 people were killed, while 21,000 others were abducted by terror groups operating in the region. During the hearing, Committee Chairman Chris Smith, who highlighted the severity of the crisis, pointed to testimony from Bishop Wilfred Anagbe of the Diocese of Makurdi, Nigeria, as a viable witness. He said, "One of our distinguished witnesses today, Bishop Wilfred Anagbe, traveled a long distance to be with us, and his testimony is both compelling and disturbing. Militant Fulani herdsmen are terrorists. They steal and vandalize. They kill people and boast about it. They abduct and they forcefully knock women, and they enjoy total impunity from elected officials. None of them have been arrested or brought to justice. Make no mistakes. These attacks are religiously motivated," the report stated, adding, "Denying this reality contradicts with overwhelming evidence we have seen with our own eyes. This religious cleansing must stop, and those responsible must be held accountable." The government of Nigeria has made little progress in addressing the persecution of Christians, even though religious freedom is enshrined as a fundamental human right in its constitution. While Nigeria's legal framework ostensibly supports religious pluralism at both federal and state levels, glaring contradictions persist, particularly in laws that criminalize blasphemy, some of which even carry the crime penalty, and subcommittee's report stated. The congressional panel strongly criticized the Nigerian government for failing to address religiously motivated violence despite constitutional protections for religious freedom, expressing concern that the Nigerian judicial system has been weaponized to suppress Christian communities. The lawmakers cited cases where blasphemy laws have been used to target religious minorities. Blaming the previous administration of President Joe Biden for weakening the U.S. pressure on Nigeria by removing the country from the country of particular concern list, Smith said the designation was originally applied during President Trump's first term. He noted that despite 4 consecutive years of recommendation from the U.S. Commission on Internal Religious Freedom, the Biden administration has failed to reinstate Nigeria's CPC status. Under President Biden, Nigeria was removed from the CPC list, despite overwhelming evidence that religious persecution has worsened. This decision ignored the repeated recommendation of the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, he said. He called on President Trump to take decisive action, including restoring Nigeria's CPC designation and engaging directly with Nigerian President Bola Tinubu to ensure better protection for Christian communities. I fully expect President Trump to redesignate Nigeria as a CPC and to take additional steps to support the persecuted church. Last night, I reintroduced a resolution on this issue, and I hope we'll have a robust discussion that leads to real action.
So guys, you heard that the U.S. Congress has called on Donald Trump, because you remember that his vice speak about this, and there is a lot. You know what the Islamic group, the Fulani herdsmen, has been doing to the Christian. They will invade their farm. If they talk, they kill them. You see what is going on in Enugu. A lot. You knew all this. Maybe some of you guys who has not know what this Islamic group has been destroying a lot, causing mayhem, raping our youth, killing them, massacring, burning the church, and they boast about it. So you heard that the Congress has called Donald Trump, they approve it, that Donald Trump should sanction Nigeria, or they should put their name back, because Nigerian name was in sanction, was in CPC. But when Biden removed it. So, but now they have approved it that they should put the name back if the government, Tinubu, did not do something about it to protect the life of the Christian and their property. Because this is why the government is there. So guys, I will let you guys watch this. So guys, watch this clip. One of the reply, the Islamic leader replied to Congress when the father reported. Watch what they say.
Anthony Blinken later suggested in a meeting with USERF members, which I was present, that these massacres were caused by climate change, that desperate Fulani herders were simply looking for pasture land. Let me be clear, this is not about climate change. It's about a violent extremist ideology that seeks to eliminate Christianity from Nigeria's northern and central regions. The evidence is undeniable. This is systematic religious violence. The U.S. government must act, and they must act now. Nigeria must be redesignated a country of particular concern. The Biden administration's removal of this designation was a reckless mistake that emboldened the very terrorists who are slaughtering Christians. The evidence overwhelmingly meets the legal threshold under the International Religious Freedom Act of 1998, which requires CPC status for governments that engage in or tolerate severe violations of religious freedom.
Before
Home by Boko Haram terrorists, he was ordered to renounce his faith. With an AK-47 pressed to his face, he was asked, "Are you ready to die as a Christian?" With extraordinary courage, Habila answered, "Yes, I am ready to die as a Christian." He was asked a second time, and he repeated his answer. His wife was pleading, "Please don't kill my husband." And yet he said, "Yes, I am ready to die as a Christian." This time, the terrorist pulled the trigger. A bullet ripped through Habila's face. He crumpled to the ground, bleeding profusely, left for dead. By some miracle, he survived. I met him at an IDP camp in Jos. I asked him to come to Washington to tell his story. He did. And at the congressional hearing, he said this to our subcommittee, this subcommittee: "I am alive because God wants you to have this message. Knowing Christ is so much deeper than merely knowing Boko Haram's story of hate and intolerance." He closed his testimony with this: "Do everything you can to end this ruthless religious persecution, but know Christ first." To the end, everything he did was to witness, to radiate his love for God, but he was also calling on us to get involved and do something. Since then, however, the wanton violence against Christians in Nigeria has grown significantly worse. A couple of days ago, the Pillared Catholic reported, and I quote, "While Christians are receiving ashes last Wednesday to begin Lent, news broke out in Nigeria that a priest had been brutally murdered by kidnappers who had stormed his rectory the night before and kidnapped him. With deep sorrow and righteous indignation, I condemn in the strongest terms the relentless and tragic wave of kidnappings targeting priests, pastoral agents, and the faithful," Bishop Kundi said in a March 7th, just a couple days ago, press conference, which expressed outrage over the kidnaps and the brutal murder of his priests.
So, guys, it is very unfortunate that Mr. Smith has said that he has authorized President Donald J. Trump to put Nigerian back in CPC. And if they put Nigerian in CPC, what actually will happen? Nigerian will be sanctioned. And once it's sanctioned, it will not affect this political elite. It will only affect some group of people that is traveling, because this political elite, they have buy passports. They have passport and they have investment across the globe. So, guys, and also the Nigerian also responded. So Nigerian government responded. They released a statement through the Ministry of Information 2 days ago. They deny the fact. I don't want to go too much what they say. Okay, they deny that nothing like this is actually going on. It's just these guys are trying to tag Nigerian so that they could resignate Nigeria in CPC. So, guys, but the facts. So, guys, the facts speak that the Nigerian government deny it. And, if it were before that they were not internet, those days that were not internet, when this Fulani herdsmen or this Islamic group burning the church. But now there is internet and the world are really seeing what is going on. So, but Nigeria deny. So, guys, I would just let you to drop your own contribution. What did you think? Did you think that US is going to sanction Nigeria if at all they continue to hear that these Fulani herdsmen and this Islamic group are killing Christians? Did you think that the US would do something about it? So please do well to drop your comment and make sure that you encourage me to subscribe, which I will always bring you guys more information.